Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another one of your A to B podcast. Let's go. It's still Christmas time, and today we got the most relevant information with everything that is actually going on right now. So that way you hear it from somebody that is literally out there doing it not right now on a day-to-day basis. As you guys know, I'm always joined by my co-host Barry Bull, and today we have a very special guest. His name is Luis Peralta.
Muy especial.
Hey,
especial.
this is an Air Wing Marine, and we're gonna talk.
Yes,
we're gonna dissect
finally, a real Marine.
a real Marine. That we're gonna be talking about. Everything that he does in the wing. Some tips and tricks. The way that I know Luis is because me and him were recruiters back in the day. Very successful recruiters, might I say. And we're going to talk about a little bit of everything, specifically the MV-22s. We're going to talk about recruiting. We're going to talk about the reason why he joined, and then we're going to see where the conversation takes us from there. So, Luis, brother, welcome.
Hey, thank you.
How you doing today, man?
I'm good. You know, beautiful day. Thanks
Hell
for
yeah.
having me.
Hell yeah. Well, first of all, Barry, I know you don't know this, but if you guys can see right here, I got something that says Aurora Candle Melts. And I think I've never said this in the podcast.
Yeah.
And essentially what I do is every single time that I close on a home, I like to support veteran-owned businesses and military spouse businesses. That's actually something that we're actually doing right now with the whole movement that we're doing with Cardone vets and all that stuff. Essentially, what we want to do is we want to educate and we want to help out our military spouses more specifically. And the reason for it, man, is because as service members, our spouses take out their roots and simply follow us anywhere in the world that we go.
Some of them do.
And literally,
The good ones.
Yeah, and exactly. And literally, like, they go sometimes under notice and underappreciated a lot of the times.
Yeah.
Specifically by the military, man. I hate it whenever, we are in a retirement ceremony.
Yeah.
And military spouses just get a bouquet of flowers and a letter of appreciation. Thank you for 20 years of service, and then that's it.
Right.
So essentially, I like to show my appreciation and my support. This one is from Aurora Candles and Melts. So shout out to them. You guys can follow them on Instagram at Aurora_Candles Melts. Okay, so if you can put the Instagram for them, so that way people can go over there and follow them. They have really good candles, and you didn't know this either, but I sold a home to Luis actually last year.
Yeah.
So I'm going around Southern California.
So you have some of these candles?
No. Well,
He's
going
gonna
around.
get some.
He's gonna get some.
'Cause
All my home buyers
we're
are.
holding Albert accountable.
Yeah.
I didn't know if
He's
you
my
were
dad.
taking me out to dinner with the candles.
All my homeowners are. Okay. All of my homeowners
Okay.
are getting a little gift, a token of my appreciation. Okay. So, brother, go ahead. Here you go.
Appreciate it.
Here you go. Go ahead and open them. I want to see what you guys' reaction is.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Here.
Those are the small ones.
Is
guys.
this bubble gum?
We'll see. I don't know. I already know what's in them.
Wow. It's very fragrant, very cinnamony.
Okay.
It's very.
They're Christmas.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing.
There's
okay.
Christmas.
Because I knew.
I would eat this.
Yeah.
Which one you
Well,
got?
I'm trying to screw it
Oh, it
on,
looks
but
like
it's not a
cinnamon.
screw cap.
It's not a
just
screw
to
cap,
pop
no.
the top. And this smells amazing, you guys. So yeah, shout out. I thought you were, like I said, I didn't know if you were sexercising me. You wanted to turn the lights
Hey,
down low.
I'm gonna tell you this though. I got a subscription base for the stress relief one.
Yeah.
Eucalyptus and lavender.
Lavender.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. That one's a good one.
Okay.
But anyways, let's get back to it, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoy them. And that you guys follow them. Now let's get right to it, Luis. What brings you into the podcast today?
Just here to, I guess, tell a little bit of my story, tell a little bit about the Air Wing, and I don't know, just whatever you have for me, like, let's ready to kick it.
Well, let's start here. What do you do in the Marine Corps?
Yeah.
So in the Marine Corps, I'm an aviation operations specialist. It's a 7041. So typically in the squadrons, I work in the S3.
Can you break that to civilian terms as well?
So in the civilian world, I guess it will be kind of managing the flight hours, the flight hour reports, the everything that has to do with the aircraft and personnel, and readiness of the unit in the squadron as a whole.
Yeah. Awesome.
Okay. So we started off the podcast in the wrong foot. I had to wrestle this guy to come into the podcast. Okay?
Wrestle him.
I had to wrestle
Is this
him.
like a literal? Is this figuratively, mentally?
It was
Or-
figuratively, mentally, yes.
Okay,
Don't
because you
take it
didn't
there.
actually
Don't take it there. I did not touch this man. Okay?
with your body.
No, I did not. So I
With-
literally had to wrestle him because he was like, man, with everything that's going on, I don't know if I really want to go on the podcast. And I was like, listen, man, like and this goes for a lot of people that I know that you guys are out there, okay? I know that you guys are probably looking at this right now. It's like, man, I would love to come on the podcast, but I'm still on active duty.
Ooh,
You know, and
yeah.
they are scared of coming out here. Listen, guys, we're not here to get you in trouble, okay?
Yeah.
We are here for you to share your story. This is
That's
a
right.
podcast for absolutely everyone. We don't have to touch, subjects that are going to be controversial. We
Yeah,
don't have
well,
to
we always talk behind the scenes. We're not going to put you in a position where we're
Exactly.
going to ask you something that you don't, it's, we're not going to do that.
Exactly. So, Luis, you went to boot camp where?
So I went to Paris Island.
Hello.
Hey.
What a bad,
We're real
what a
Marines over
bad
here.
choice that was.
So that was in July of 2011.
Okay.
So pretty much 12 and a half years now, 2024 almost.
Okay, and how would you describe your boot camp experience?
Boot camp was definitely.
Wake up at 9 a.m.
Oh, yeah. No. We woke up really early.
Yeah, hey guys, this is get up right now because we're so mad.
Nah,
No, he's just mad. Just so you know, he's just mad because he was a
Hollywood?
San Diego hat.
Yeah.
So he's just mad that
They go to the
you know,
Padres games
he
and
would-
whatnot.
Exactly.
Well, because we understand
Exactly.
marketing, we understand
yeah,
recruiting,
but-
we understand recruiting. That's why we
They don't
carry
really
the
have to in the
load.
stands.
We carry the recruiting load for the East Coast,
Yeah,
and that's
okay.
part of the way we do it.
Yeah.
Anyways,
All right.
anyways, Luis, back to you.
Yes. So yeah, boot camp was cool.
Exactly.
I mean, it was tough. It was
Well,
tough.
no, it was cool. No, you said it right the first.
It was hot in the summer, but when we graduated, it was
But
pretty
yeah,
cold.
but hey, you had,
we got
you know,
sand fleas.
we had soda
we
pop.
got all the no soda pop.
Okay. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry, guys. Go ahead.
But it was a good time, man. It was a lot of running, screaming. Ate a lot of sand fleas.
Was it some? Okay, now, okay. So you had social media, or maybe I don't know if you personally did, but like you had things like YouTube. Was it some? Because like I went in '98, you didn't have that. It was like, oh my, I was shocked.
Yeah.
Was there like a moment of shock? You showed up to Paris Island and you were like, what?
I felt like at that time, I tried to look up a lot of videos, and maybe 2011, 2010, it was still fairly new. So I felt like what I saw, there wasn't much of it compared to how much content is out now.
Yeah.
So
Oh my gosh,
really,
I
I
know.
was kind of like, it was kind of surprising.
Yeah.
And actually, it's kind of what I expected, to be honest.
Sure. Had
So
you
it
seen the movie Full Metal Jacket before?
I had, yeah.
Was it worse than that?
Shoot. I mean, there was a lot of things that weren't supposed to go on when I was there that
Wow,
happened. but,
Luis is ready to alligate you.
you know,
guys.
but
I'm so sorry.
But hey, yeah, I guess.
Okay. Do you remember your drill instructors? Like, does any one of them stick out to you, or?
I remember probably my kill hat. Shoot, I barely remember his name, but I remember what he looks like, and if I see him,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
we'll play cards or something.
Awesome.
Okay, now let me ask you this: whenever you were recruited, and the reason why I want to get into some of this terminology is because I know that you will be able to understand me. Me and him were recruiters together as well, right? So whenever you were joining the military, what program did you went under?
Believe it or not, I went under parachute rigger.
Really?
Yes. So it was a whole. I actually started off with the infantry contract. I was a pulley for about 10 months because I joined throughout my beginning of my senior year.
Okay.
And now I know, as being a recruiter, what happened exactly. But towards my last month, I think.
Wait a minute. You're a recruiter and you went to Paris Island?
That's
That's the best combination.
What is
We
this?
killed
What
it
the
out there.
hell is?
We killed it out there.
So about like the same month I was supposed to leave, June, right? I just graduated boot camp. My recruiter calls me. He's like, "Hey, so I know you got this O3 contract. I'm sorry, infantry contract, but we got this guy that we really need to ship out. So remember that job that you asked about that goes to jump school? I was like, which one? Parachute rigger? Yeah, the one that's never open. Well, we got it.
Miracle! What
I
a
was like,
miracle!
what?
What a miracle! It
Okay,
opened.
but in recruiter terms, was that a miracle or what was
No,
going on
it wasn't a
there?
miracle. It wasn't
okay,
a
so
miracle.
what was?
I was talking about this actually in my. I was actually talking about this in one of the videos that I did.
Okay.
Like 3 things that your recruiter doesn't know, and the first thing is, listen, the job that you were asking about, it's not that it's not available. It's that it's not available for the date that you actually have to ship to boot camp.
How does that connect that for me?
Okay, so the operations
Sure.
for recruiting for your recruiting command, right? They have a list of all the available programs that are available for each fiscal year, right? And they only release certain amount of programs throughout the quarters, you know?
Got it.
The thing is that if you
So you have like this time window, and these programs are available, and then
Exactly.
and then you got to wait till the next go round.
Exactly, but the thing is
Is
that
it on a predictable clock?
no, but because
wow.
because shipping is king. There's a saying in recruiting that's called shipping is king. You can recruit 100 people in 1 month, but if 0 of them ship,
It don't matter.
you did nothing.
You did nothing.
You did absolutely nothing.
All the phone calls.
Exactly. So
Well,
that's
the recruiters
reason,
they're out there hanging out anyways, right?
Sure. Well, we'll go into that. Well, me and him, we got some stories that we can share. But essentially, that's what happened.
Got it.
You know, like he was in there for 10 months, and then within that 10 months, they have to assign you a program because
Sure.
they have to assign you a shipping date.
So because his date shifted, that other field opened up.
Correct.
So the funny thing is, I actually wanted to go as infantry. I had pretty decent scores. I qualified for a lot of jobs. I wanted to go infantry.
Sure.
Because my buddy, he was a lot older than me. He went to Iraq. He was a sniper. He had a bunch of stories and videos, and he was like, hey, if you're gonna go be a Marine, you gotta go be infantry, right? That's the only way to go.
Yeah.
And I was kind of stuck with that. So June comes around, and the recruiter calls me. He tells me that, and I'm like, that's cool, jump school and all, but I'm kind of already sold on this
Right.
infantry thing. But the next phone call I get is actually from this other poolee that apparently he could not ship with any other program besides infantry. So he called me and given me this sob story about, hey man, I have to ship next week. I have to ship, with the infantry program. So really, I think I gave that up because I felt bad for him, and that's how I ended up taking the parachute rig.
Where are you from originally?
I'm from Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Hey, you see that Boston? Yeah, represent.
Hey, let's
Springfield,
go.
Massachusetts, to be exact.
Okay.
Where I got recruited from.
Yeah.
Yes.
Are you Puerto Rican?
Yes, I'm half Puerto Rican, half Dominican.
So I got 3 Puerto Ricans in here, guys, and I'm not Puerto Rican. I don't know if you guys.
Yep.
If you guys
You
knew
are
that.
outnumbered.
I did not know if you,
You
guys
are
knew.
outnumbered.
And if
today.
I don't mind being the first one to tell you.
Listen,
My DNA test did not reveal that I was Puerto Rican. Okay, that
this
was
is
not
what
on there.
happens. This is what happens when you
Off
leave the guests up to me.
camera, Louis. Yeah, exactly. We're really stacking it up here. Okay, so and you said that Mexican food's better.
Nah, never.
Wow.
Never. I say that in
Hey,
California.
listen.
Okay.
Listen,
Okay.
So you went to boot camp, and then obviously you got that program. Looking back now, are you thankful that you didn't go infantry?
Definitely, especially all my friends.
Definitely. Wow.
Yeah. Hey, I've
Why?
Man, the stories that they tell me. I have buddies that deployed 7, 8 times, and back-to-back mews. I'm like, damn, dude. Like, do you know what being on the state side looks like?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I'm very appreciative of how I ended up in aviation operations, which is
Sure.
You're probably wondering how I got out of parachute rigger to get into that.
Yeah, so let's get into that. How the hell did you get into when exactly in the process though? Because a lot of people that are under the impressions like, oh man, because specifically we had some very old school people in our comments, which is good, man. We love you, by the way. Shout out to you guys. Thank you for giving us the letting us into your
By
your
old
homes.
school he means 80s. He's talking 80s.
80s, yes, 80s and 90s. You're
No.
old school. No, you're old school.
No,
Sorry.
no. Okay.
So we've been having some old school people. It's like, yeah, when I went to MCT, I just told them that I wasn't gonna be that MOS, and they changed me. I'm like, well, that's not how it works now.
It doesn't work that way. It didn't work that way when I was there.
Yeah, it didn't work. It doesn't
tell
work
you
that
right now,
way.
like,
It doesn't work that way. So when specifically in the process did you change from parachute rigger to aviation operations?
So I actually went to the first part of the MOS school for parachute rigger, which was in Fort Lee, and
Virginia.
Virginia. Yes.
Beautiful.
That's where we go and pretty much kind of stay in a MAP platoon. right? Marines awaiting training prior to going to jump school, which is our first actual school for that MOS. Funny thing is, they wake me up one of the mornings, say, hey, we got swim qual. And I'm like, I haven't swam since boot camp, and what are we talking about? So we go and we hop in the pool. We do an advanced swim qual, and
can you swim?
Long story short, I failed.
Wow, you cannot swim. Wow,
yeah, I can swim.
You're the first Dominican I know that can't swim.
Is that common for? Is that okay? Is not being able to swim, is that common for Puerto Rican?
No, it's not.
Okay. I'm just asking because there are people that stereotypically they think they can't swim. I don't know.
Nah, hear me out. It was about 3 of us that got reclassed because they were watching us in the shallow end of the pool. So when we were swimming back and we had to turn around, inadvertently my lower leg hit the bottom of the deck, and there was someone down there, and they were like, drop. So I don't know if they were just a numbers game. Or
why do I feel like he was sucking water down?
No, they do that sometimes though.
Yeah.
They
are you sticking up for your friend?
I'm sorry?
Are you
of course.
Okay.
No, because I've seen it happen too. Like it is a numbers game, 100%.
Sure.
You know, like they.
But you swear you can swim.
I'm pretty good.
It's just
you said like you're freaking Sean Phelps.
gotta
his job that he got now, he got to swim.
Yeah.
But it's just like book. Like let me ask you this: whenever you were a drill instructor, you guys do have an attrition rate that you guys have to keep. And I know how those.
You mean in the pool? Are you talking in the pool?
No, I'm talking about
just
in
straight
general.
Up.
Like you guys have an attrition rate that you guys have to, because if not, you're a waddy, weak ass drill instructor. If your job is to make recruits quit. At least it was back in the day.
It is. Your job is to make recruits, and man, it's so long ago because I was there from 2004 to 2007. But what I recall is you couldn't drop too many recruits. Like you couldn't get below a certain.
But there is an attrition rate.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
There is one, yeah.
So if you start with 120,
but it's just like anything else, right? If you got 6 platoons in a company. Okay. If it's at night, everybody's asleep, right? Theoretically. Yeah. And one platoon turns the lights on, it's easy to see. Same thing, right? You got one platoon, they drop 21 kids or something. Everybody else has dropped like 3. Right. You're going to zero in on those. So it's like this also, what are the people in your left and right doing? But yes, attrition, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can swim.
I can swim.
So, okay. So you got dropped.
Yes.
And then you got reclassed. By the people that don't, means that you got dropped out of that specific class, and then you have to wait for another one of those classes.
Well, actually, it was a MOS reclass.
Oh.
So I lost my whole program, and there's 3 of us that got reclassed. One to be a cook, one to be admin, and then I got aviation ops. So I think I got
the best. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, was there money lost in that? Was there a bonus? Was it like this fell out, that fell out?
No, just.
But if you get reclassed like that, can you potentially lose a bonus or something?
Can.
Yeah.
100%.
Okay.
If you came in as a bonus, because that again goes back into programs. If you go into one of these high speed low drag MOSs like Intel, and they do offer a bonus, yes. If you get reclassed to a different MOS, you will lose.
What, do you got to pay that back?
No, because you don't get it. You only get it once you graduate.
Once you got it, okay.
Yeah, you get it once you graduate. Okay, so you got reclassed, and where did you get sent after that?
After that, I got sent to beautiful Mississippi, Meridian, Mississippi. Yeah, never heard of it before I got there, but it was. I guess it was all right. Just I didn't know I was going into the aviation field until I got that contract, and then I went there, did the schoolhouse for I think it was 2.5 months. And when I finally got my orders to go to New River, North Carolina for my first duty station.
So that was your first duty station.
Correct,
How you like that first duty station?
It was cool because, as a young guy coming in, I joined at 17 and a half, 18. So, that first duty station, I feel like it's kind of the most impactful just because the friends that I was able to make there and that are still my friends to this day. So, and just kind of learning the Marine Corps in the beginning it was definitely an experience.
Why did you choose the Marine Corps? Like, why not the Air Force or the Navy or the Army?
Just because of the commercials, they just made them look badass, the uniforms. And then, like I said, my buddy kind of motivated me to go do it. And he was, this war of a hero and done all this stuff. And
little did you know he needed the points to pick up corporal.
No, he wasn't a recruiter. He was just.
No, I know, but that's what I'm saying.
Oh yeah.
You still need the RA points in order for you to pick up.
So that's pretty much why. I just if I'm gonna do this military thing, might as well just go for the branch.
Did your family support it, like mom and dad?
At first, no, especially in the Spanish community.
Why?
They just think that it's funny because my dad thought I was, going to the 1775. Hey, they send the Latinos first and the front lines, and
Is that true? Is this something?
That is something that
Like your family was like
historic. Well, no, not my family. I come from a military background family.
Got it.
My grandfather served in Vietnam, but that's essentially where they get it from. So let me give you a little backstory on the reason why is it that Hispanic people feel that way. Okay,
Yeah.
specifically Puerto Rican
He's
people.
pointing over there because I'm not Hispanic, guys. Once
Yes,
again, just
no.
a disclaimer.
Even though they are,
I will crush the food.
even though they are Hispanics, that are whiter looking than Barry. Okay,
Yeah.
but essentially what happened. This is what happens, right? In 1898, Puerto Rico got taken over by, or they were part of the Paris Treaty, which essentially what that did was it turned over Puerto Rico and from Spain over to the United States.
I remember when you did this series of videos.
Yes.
This was super informative. Like
Yes.
if you guys have not seen Albert's history lesson on Puerto Rico, it's seriously good.
Yes. So, and then what happened was that didn't give us citizenship.
Got it.
Okay, so we were just like in limbo whenever it came. We were Puerto Ricans, and then that was it. But when World War One came around, they needed people. So they said, "Oh well, you know what? We'll give you citizenship, and the reason why we'll give you citizenship is so that way you can join the military." And then with the segregation that was going on back in the early 1920s, Hispanics, blacks, they were still segregated.
Sure.
So there was literal units with just Puerto Ricans or Hispanics in that unit.
Wow.
And then guess who were the first ones that will get sent out? The Hispanics or the blacks, and then the whites came later.
Sure.
So that's where they actually get that information from, like our grandparents, because their grandparents went through something similar.
Because it was true once upon a time.
It was true once upon a time, and it happened in World War One, II, and then in Vietnam.
Yeah, wow. That's not even that long ago. You're
yeah.
talking the 60s and 70s.
Yeah, my grandfather was
There's some
actually
truth
part of
to it
that.
then.
My grandfather was actually part of that.
So what did you say to your family? Like, no, that's not true?
I mean, they saw that I was, pretty much like it's not true. Try to get as much information as I can, do research, and kind of just translate it to Spanish to them. And also, they knew I was kind of getting into some trouble back in like high school and whatnot, and it was pretty much like the best thing for me, I guess, at the time, just to get out the city, try something different, and they know that I can get a profession out of it, getting paid, get some education, health benefits, all that. So at least if I do 4 years, they were still kind of nervous when they had to sign for me, but they knew they believed in me.
How would you describe your upbringing? Were you guys like middle class? Were you very poor? Were you like super rich?
So where I grew up, it was low income. So it was essentially the projects. That's where like me and my family, my cousins, because I'm first generation American. My parents actually came in their early 20s. So, I know what it is to live under WIC and food stamps and all that. So definitely just wanted to get out because, where I live, it's just a lot of, violence or drugs. That was kind of the only way to make money, I guess, instead of going to college. And so I just decided to do something different. I just wanted to get out
Do
of
you
it.
regret your decision at all, joining the Marine Corps or the military? Or?
Not at all. Not at all.
So like coming from that area, the projects, low income, all that,
for sure.
you feel like that was a solid move?
Yes, super solid. I wouldn't be where I am today if I didn't do that, and I believe it was fate. So
What would you say to the young men, women, or potential poolies out there that are growing up similarly? They're in they're poor, troubled youth, crime, violence.
Yeah, definitely go seek a recruiter. It doesn't have to be the Marine Corps; it can be any branch. I think they have a lot to offer, and it gets you out of certain situations if you feel like if you feel like you don't see a ends meeting with maybe going to college or like a vocational job. So definitely at least go seek a recruiter for at least some type of counseling. Not necessarily I have to go enlist that day.
Yeah, like at least get the information.
Right, it's free.
Yeah,
It's free. So knowledge is power. So at least put it in your toolbox. If you don't decide that day, maybe later on, it'd definitely be something nice.
I can relate to that because I remember like being in school thinking to myself, this is great. I got food, I got clothes, I got a roof over my head, and I'm like making my family proud, and you're like actually doing something. You're part of something greater than yourself. So that's awesome.
So during that first 4 years of your career in New River, did you end up deploying with them?
I did not.
You
I did not deploy my whole first contract. I was a little disgruntled because
Why?
I could have went to an Afghanistan deployment, but I had a senior enlisted Marine that decided to take my spot just because he didn't deploy in that grade. So it was kind of a bummer.
What rank were they?
He was a gunny. Yeah, he was like, I didn't deploy as a gunny yet, so I'm gonna take this one when they offered it to me first. So I was kind of bummed out about that, which. Not to go down another rabbit hole, but I actually put in a.
We love rabbit holes.
I decided
we love rabbit holes.
It ain't even Easter
in Puerto
yet.
Rico, we eat
It ain't
rabbit.
Easter yet, but we'll be down the hole of the rabbit and stuff.
I was like, well, you guys don't want to deploy me in my MOS or change my unit. I'm gonna put in a MARSOC package. So I went to ANS and
ANS. What does ANS stands for?
Assessment and Selection for MARSOC. Now the Raiders. So I did that for my last. During my last year in New River, I just went up the street to Camp Lejeune. I'm sorry, Stone Bay. Went to Stone Bay, did my ANS. I made it past the first phase, didn't get selected to the second phase. So it goes back to my swimming. No, negative. Nah, swimming was definitely like the first or second day, I believe. They went. We hopped straight into the pool.
That was close.
But I definitely trained.
He caught it.
Yeah,
he caught it.
Not doing that again.
No.
But yeah, I definitely did a lot of swimming. A lot of people got dropped. People were getting dropped left and right in the pool. I feel like it was to the point that they were like, "Hey, we're not leaving until this many people get dropped." So
wow,
damn.
I definitely gave my
okay, but hold on. I'm going to talk about a little bit about this deployment. What did you think when that gunny was like, "I'm taking this deployment"? Were you like, "That's garbage," right?
Yeah, I was like, dude, like, I wanted to fight him. But
but you didn't.
I didn't because I'm a good guy. So, I let him go do his thing, and hey, I hope he enjoyed it.
Did other Marines know about it? Was that something typical of that guy?
My whole shop knew about it. Everyone in my unit that was involved in that deployment pretty much knew about it. They just, I guess it is what it is.
Yeah. So you did 4 years from New River. And then from there, you didn't deploy. And then what made you decide to re-enlist the second time?
Yeah. So I felt like, I don't know, I wanted to see another part of the U.S. California was kind of like, you have that incentive once your first contract to choose where you want to go next. And I didn't want to judge my first contract experience, judge the whole Marine Corps on my first enlistment.
So smart.
So I was like, you know what, let me try this Cali thing. Let me see how I like it. I'm going to put in orders.
That's amazing.
And so I was able to get San Diego. I was able to get Miramar. And I got sent over to MAG 11, which is another non-deployable unit. But within 2 months of me being there, they sent me to Bahrain. So with VMFA 232.
Okay, so and you came here, MAG 11, shout out. That's where Sergeant Major Celis retired out of. Okay, so you went to you came here to Miramar, you said, right?
Mm-hmm,
MAG 11 in Miramar. And then from there you went to Bahrain for how long?
It was a 6-month deployment in Bahrain, so they needed a hot fill out there for, I guess, a kid from my same MOS that couldn't do it. So I was able to go out to Bahrain and do my first deployment with the unit that once we returned, they actually kept me. So I did not return back to them.
And you were aviation operations.
Correct, yes.
Okay. Now, I do have a question for you. And let me know if I'm getting like way ahead because I want a good chronological record of your career. So how is it that works? Because obviously you started as aviation operations.
Yep.
But from aviation operations, you actually became part of an aircrew.
Yes. Okay, so I guess fast forward a little bit.
Was that when that happened?
Negative. So when I was on that deployment, we got back. We started doing some more workups. We were in Alaska, and I got orders. So orders dropped in the system. Hey, you're going to H&HS Miramar, another non-deployable unit. I'm like, God, like these things love me. So, but I talked to a friend that they were like, hey man, like they actually have a VMR debt out of the H&HS. So that's exactly where you'll be going, and they actually have an aircraft that you can possibly fly on if they like you or whatnot. So as soon as I got back from Alaska, you know, that was a workup that we were supposed to go on another deployment, which I was hyped about. So you can imagine, you know, getting orders to another non-deployable. I was pretty upset, but I made the best out of it. I showed up to the unit, H&HS Miramar. I was in the VMR debt. As soon as I showed up, I seen a corporal come by in a flight suit. I'm like, hey, dude, what's up, man? Like, you know, I introduced myself, and to find out he's actually one of my Marines. I'm like, wait, what are you doing in a flight suit? He's like, yeah, I'm flying in this C-12, right? The UC-12. It's a little transport aircraft, a cargo transport. And so long story short, when I showed up there, I pretty much learned my MOS, another part of my MOS, because it's different when you're in like a actual squadron versus like a H&HS. Like, it's just a different, the way it works as far as scheduling and whatnot. So I learned my job as good as I could for like the first 2 months. You know, going in early, staying late. You know, just busting my ass, getting a credibility for myself, right? Because when you show up to a new unit, like nobody.
Yeah, nobody knows you.
Yeah,
Right,
nobody
you're
knows.
nobody.
Well, I always say that's like one of the hardest things in the Marine Corps is
Yeah.
going to a new unit, man.
That's
Yeah.
oh man, that is so tiring and so taxing.
It's tough.
You have to hit the ground running. It doesn't matter what you did, you know, before, like, hey, what you got for me tomorrow, right? Like recruiting.
That's right.
Yeah.
So as soon as I got there, I saw like the dude in the flight suit, and I also heard rumors of a little deployment going to Germany, and I was like, how do I get on this deployment, right? There's no way they're gonna put me on. I only been here for 2 months. So what I did was I just busted my ass doing that. I did all my prerequisites to start flying, right? I even went on leave to go do my own swim qual. Nobody helped me really. I just scheduled it all myself. Once I got those prerequisites, I got with the flight instructor of the aircraft, and he got me through the syllabus, got me through all my codes, my day flights, night flights, you know, and finally got my
And what aircraft is this in?
a UC-12. Yes. It's a small little six passenger little cargo plane, and that's how I ended up getting my wings a couple months after. Which, and that aspect is where I sold myself to go on this deployment as the operations chief and as an aircrew member, so the transport aircrew member.
Okay.
So I was doing 2 in 1. So I showed up, busted my ass, got all that stuff under my belt, and pretty much say, hey, tell me no.
You could have just sat back. What would have been different had you just sat back and not really kind of pushed for that?
I would have definitely got disgruntled, you know, not deploying, sitting there in the H&HS, just kind of like, you know, doing the day-to-day and just, you know, settling for less. But I was pretty much.
You know what's crazy is that, you know, a lot of people, and because you and I encountered this on a regular basis, whenever you are on recruiting duty and you tell somebody I'm a Marine, would you like to join the Marine Corps? Essentially, the conversation doesn't go like that, but, you know, just a brief resume of how the conversation ends. Do you want to be a Marine? Oh no, why not? Oh yeah, because you guys are the first ones to go in. We have one of the main complaints that Marines are having right now is like they're not able to deploy. They join, they want to deploy, and they can't deploy because there's really not that many deployments going on. And then we have augments from this, you know, special MOSs that they don't send out entire, you know, they don't send out entire shops or even units. They just send out onesies and twosies, like it happened to him.
These detachments, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
I experienced a lot of that early in my career.
Yeah, you know, and you know, a lot of people is like, oh yeah, well, you're not gonna go in the Marines. Listen, I joined in 2009. You joined in 1998. He joined in 2011. Afghanistan and Iraq wars were in full effect when I joined.
Yeah.
And I didn't even get to go to those places until I hit Gunny. Iraq was no longer a freaking thing.
Well,
in Afghanistan, we were egressing out of Afghanistan.
Well, yeah, you know, because like part of I think what it is that to the general public, they see Marines deploying all the time. What they don't see is what you and I and Luis see on the ground, which is there's not as many fully deployable units as are maybe not advertised, but people think.
Yeah. Yeah, that's 100% true. And then another common misconception is, oh, well, if you're in the Marine Corps, you're going to be a grunt.
Yeah.
You know,
You're a bullet sponge.
we have over. I'm gonna do the.
I
recruiting
heard that
thing.
a lot when I was joining. You're going to be a bullet sponge. And I'm like, okay.
I'm gonna do the recruiting thing. In recruiting, we said in the Marine Corps we have over 350 jobs, and that's true.
It is true.
Infantry is only like 4 or 5 of those. You know, like everything that we do, though. I think the misconception comes because out of everything that we do is to support those infantrymen that are actually out there on the ground. So coming back,
Yeah.
you went to Germany.
Yes, and I guess, Anakin reference, this is where the fun begins. Man, Germany was a blast. I was supposed to go for a 3-month debt and ended up staying about 6 months and a half.
Hell yeah.
It was just me and about 5 pilots. So all I did
boy.
was, special purpose MAGTF supporting. So we traveled Spain, Italy, Romania, Germany on a weekly basis. And I was able to go to about 15 other countries like on our downtime. So
Yeah, because you deployed to Germany, but like you said, you're flying.
right, everywhere.
15
Every week.
countries in 6 months. Did I hear that right?
Yeah.
Damn.
Free travel.
I mean, there's a lot of little countries in Germany, so they're about the size of states here.
Still, though.
But
like,
I went through them. I either drove, flew there. I stood in hostels, stood in Airbnbs, everything you can
yeah, but
think
like,
of.
who would have ever thought
Yeah, exactly.
Luis from Massachusetts, he's tough upbringing, and all of a sudden you're in Germany, you're going to all these countries.
Getting paid to go there.
You're
You
getting
know how
paid.
crazy that
Yeah,
is?
a lot of people thought it's like, dude, what are you doing? Because I'm flying in like civilian attire. Because a lot of these airports where we landed,
Right.
OPSEC, so we weren't flying in uniform. I will sometimes record and whatnot, social media, and people are like, dude, like, what are you doing? Just sitting in the back, doing my aircrew stuff and just, enjoying everywhere we went. There was a lot of work, a lot of hours for sure, but there was a good amount of downtime.
Yeah,
as well.
and how do those deployments look like for you? Like, were you, were people on your ass all the time? So, and what rank were you, most importantly?
So I was a sergeant at that point. Yep.
Okay, and then
in Germany.
I think I got promoted. So I was a corporal and then I was a sergeant out there. Yes.
okay, so you were a corporal, and then how many people did you deploy with?
It was
you
like
said four pilots and then one.
Myself and I think there was like 2 others, like an admin and then like one other person, but they weren't like flying or anything. They were just kind of doing like DTS.
So you're an E4, what are you, maybe 21?
Yeah, just about 21, 22, I believe. Yeah. So definitely definitely tried a lot of
15
different.
countries?
Tried a lot
Yeah,
of alcohol.
most people specifically over there in like where you from in Long Beach, most people don't even see the beach and they're right there by
Well,
Long
that's my point.
You know?
It's like you're 21, maybe 22, you're an E4, young guy,
Yeah.
From Massachusetts. And then because of the military, you get linked up with these pilots on this deployment and you're doing all this stuff.
Yeah.
That's some serious opportunity.
It was good, and I definitely got to experience a lot of different cultures. Got to do, like the running with the bulls in Spain. Got to travel to like Ibiza and Mallorca. Got to
Run of the bulls, I mean, we need to make that part of the safety brief.
No,
Because you know damn
this
well.
guy's fucking crazy.
I went by
That,
myself too.
damn well, Sergeant
He
Major,
went by
what's up?
him fucking self.
Sergeant Majors, where you at? Back me up on this. Come on. Ain't no way we're co-signing the run of the bulls out there.
Listen,
Luis out
no
there
face,
living
no
wild
case.
and free.
This guy went by himself to the run of the bulls thing.
Yeah.
By himself. And
Dear
then he
Lord.
ran with the freaking bulls.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun.
I bet it was fun.
I think a couple people died that day, but hey, thank God I'm alive. So, but no big deal.
They're expected. There's people that are expected to die. Getting mauled by a freaking bull. Mm-hmm. When he was telling me this story, I was like, there ain't no freaking way that I'm putting myself in harm, like deliberately putting myself in harm. He was like, yeah, but there's like thousands of people there, man. Like the chances of you like getting.
I'm
mauled
with
by
you.
the
I
bull-
would not do it.
Like
I'm not doing
I'll
the
probably
run.
look at it.
I'll do the
with
run.
a beer from one of them freaking balconies.
I'll
or
do the
something.
run of the dogs.
There you go.
Run of the cats.
Depends on what dogs are they, because if they're a bunch of German
That's true.
shepherds,
Yeah, that's
I ain't
true.
doing
Yeah,
that shit.
fuck that.
German shepherds,
like
he was
crazy-
in Germany. Hello, okay.
Yeah.
So you did that. Any other cool stories that you have from your time of that
Man,
deployment?
I got to do all the Oktoberfests out there, right, in Germany. I got to see all the way how it looks from the south, like Stuttgart, Munich, all the way up to like the north and Berlin.
Yeah.
So it's very different, different parts of Germany.
Are you married?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Yes.
I was going to say, are women better in Germany or here?
I will not disclose that information at this time.
No comments. Listen.
No comment.
Listen.
But,
She's Hispanic too. She'll cut us, okay?
Yeah.
My wife too.
But it's definitely worth going to check out. So,
Wow. Whoa.
no, I'm forever single. Right?
yeah.
But
Oh, man.
hey, edit that out. Yeah.
Read between the lines, everybody.
But
Okay. So So you come back, you had a blast on that deployment. I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
you're feeling pretty good. You be like, you finally did something,
Yeah.
even though this was probably year 5 or year 6 in your Marine Corps
Yep.
career, right?
Yeah.
And then the Marine Corps comes back and says, boom, you're going to recruiting.
So it's
Did that
funny.
happen after that deployment?
Did you volunteer or you got histed?
So, while I'm out there having my beer in Germany, some nice orders came by. Hey, you're histed. So
Ooh.
request which one you want to do, drill instructor or recruiting. And at that point, I was like, man, I'm having too much fun. I don't know if I want to continue. But after talking to a lot
What
of
do you
people,
mean? You thought about getting out of the Marine Corps?
I did. Yes, it's funny. Every contract, I come to that moment. It's like, oh, what do I do? But and somehow here I am, like a couple contracts later. So, but I've enjoyed I've enjoyed the ride, and like I said, I think it was fate again. I talked to family members, talked to close friends in the military, friends that got out, and I just made the decision. All right, let's try this recruiting thing. Hopefully, I can get.
Why not go DI?
I felt like it wasn't really my thing. Just I seen a lot of. I have a couple friends that went, and they seem miserable. I mean,
They are
Yeah,
miserable.
but recruiters
Not
seem miserable.
Yes.
Too, though. Recruiters are miserable
But
in their own way.
We are
right?
miserable in our way, but here's the difference in between recruiting and drill instructor. We are miserable because
The difference is DIs are better.
the difference,
And that's
not
what I was going to
necessarily.
say. And guys, I'm right.
Not necessarily.
shit.
Let me tell you why we're miserable. The reason why drill instructors and recruiters are different, are miserable in different ways, is because the recruiting stress never goes away for the entirety of the 3 years.
Yeah, like it's the same
Because
36 months.
you can be a hero 1 month where you put
Yeah.
the 3 contracts that your
Yeah.
shop needed or that your recruiting station needed in order for them to make mission,
Yep.
and then the next month you got 0 people. You are at the
You're a
bottom of the
dirtbag.
freaking pile again.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. DI, it's like there's phases, right? Like you're new, then you got some more experience. You're a third hat maybe, then you're a
Once you're a senior drill instructor in DI as a drill instructor, nobody really messes with you because you would not get to the senior drill instructor position unless somebody signed you off to be a senior drill instructor.
correct.
So like there's a specific trust and
Some guys
confidence.
try to act like a senior drill instructor right out of DI school, and then they come work for a guy like me, and I'm like, I know you love recruits, but if you would have fit into Paris Island, you should IT them.
No, so that's the main reason, right? Like I remember, man, like the stress monkey when we were on recruiting duty
Yeah.
never went away. Drill instructors. Doc, my cousin graduated his first platoon. He got, I think it was like 3 weeks off. And when you are off as a drill instructor, you are off. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't have to worry about shit.
Yeah.
As a recruiter, you don't have that luxury.
I never got no 3 weeks off, but I can tell you,
Well, drill instructors now are getting 4, 5, 6, 8 weeks off after
that shipping has a big impact on that because we get the shipping schedule too.
Yeah.
And you'll already have projected numbers
Mm-hmm.
like for your platoons and stuff like that. But DI, I can tell you during the cycle, I mean, there was legitimate like moments where I was like, I'm gonna die. It wasn't like figuratively, I'm not feeling too good. It was like, I'm gonna die. My heart is gonna pop.
Yeah.
Or you felt you were so physically ill, you were like, I'm gonna lay in these bushes and die right now, like whatever it was, because you would get like the recruit crud at least once a cycle. But
Yeah.
okay, so recruiting.
Yeah. Recruiting, I got histed, right? I was in Germany, I got histed. I decided to take the orders. As soon as I got back, so like I said, I came back, I got promoted, I was a sergeant. As soon as I got back, I went to sergeant school, graduated. Within a week, I went to BRC.
Yeah.
So
what's
really,
BRC?
Basic recruiter school. So I went there, and I pretty much, that's where, all the recruiting learning occurred, and
A lot of partying too.
What would you guys?
We can talk about that. We can talk about that.
What would you
We can
guys
talk about
say
that.
to young Marines or whatever they're at in their phase in their career? They get recruiting orders and they're debating taking them, getting out, refusing. What would you guys say?
shoot, what I would say,
ahead.
if you ain't got a plan, man, like just do it, right? Because if you don't got a plan when you get out, I mean, then again, there's people that get out no plan and are very successful. Not talking for everyone, but for the ones that really have no idea, maybe they just had a kid, it wasn't it's not the end of the world. It's what you make it, really. At least for recruiting. I think compared a little bit to drill instructor, correct me if I'm wrong, I think on recruiting you can kind of control your schedule a little bit better. You know, to me, DI, like you get told what to do all the time. You have a set schedule. For us as recruiters is like, if you're doing good this month, like, hey, you know, you can take it slow. You know, you can do whatever. You can kind of time manage a little bit better.
DI, there is absolutely no schedule control.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's good because you know exactly what you're doing. As a recruiter, you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
But essentially, you know, I want to talk about the different phase of recruiting because a lot of people, man, like I've heard people that say, "Oh yeah, I don't want to be a recruiter because my staff sergeant told me that it was a horrible time, that he had a horrible time on
If
recruiting."
there's something that'll piss me off, it's that.
You know, and I'm gonna tell you this, man, like recruiting is the best thing that has happened to my life.
Yeah.
I'm not saying because, and he knows.
Likewise.
It's not, and he knows. I had
Did you guys recruit in the same area?
We recruited, so he was RSS Ponce and I was RSS San Juan.
So same island.
Same island.
Okay, I was going to say, what does that mean? Okay, thank
So
you.
let me explain to you this. There's 3.5 million people in Puerto Rico at any given point. There was only 11 recruiters at any given point in Puerto Rico, and we were two of them.
Whoa.
Yeah.
For the entire island. Right? So essentially, you know, like the reason why I want to talk about this, guys, is because the best thing that has ever happened to me was recruiting duty. And I say this because even if you were an introvert, Sergeant Santiago, so he knows who Sergeant Santiago is. He was a recruiter that he came under our office, and we had to train him. He was the biggest introverted person that I've ever met. And as a matter of fact, let me tell you a story about Sergeant Santiago. If you see this Sergeant Santiago, you know I'm not freaking lying.
Whoa.
Yo, listen, Sergeant Santiago. So in Puerto Rico, we have our own way of doing things. Yeah. So we work hard from Monday all the way to Thursday. And when I mean hard, like there's no time off. There's no nothing. You have to make mission because on Friday, when Friday hits, 12 o'clock, our entire office is going out. I don't give a fuck what we're doing. I don't give a fuck about nothing. Your ass is going with us.
Team building is mandatory.
That's called team building.
What do you say going out? What are we going out to find some
We're
chicks?
going out to area canvas.
But there's going to be Puerto Rican women there.
No, not necessarily. Not necessarily. Like, what we used to do is we used to go to a bar or we used to go to a nice restaurant, and we would just simply decompress. You know, like we would just
for a couple hours.
We would instead of always being business,
yeah,
we will get to know each other. That's why me and him are very good friends, and everyone that went to Puerto Rico are very good friends because we got to know each other on a personal basis.
On a whole, personal.
You know what I'm saying? It wasn't just staff sergeant to staff sergeant or staff sergeant to sergeant. It was like.
And do you think that connection helped your team?
That's the reason why we did it.
Yeah.
That is the exact reason why we did it because it developed a different type of trust to where if somebody messed up, we wouldn't even have to tell them.
So why don't leaders in the Marine Corps take the time to get to know their people like that?
I mean, I don't know, but I'll tell you that's the reason why. That's the reason why. Like my closest people that I can trust are people that came from.
Like, do you think
recruiting.
Leaders in the Marine Corps should do that?
Yeah, I mean 100%. But
yeah.
It's not. There's not a place all the time in the Marine Corps for you to do that.
Sure.
There was only 11 of us.
Got it.
You know what I'm saying? So it was a small unit. If you have 70, 80 Marines, you're not going to... Specifically, that's where the problem comes in.
Well, I'm just saying, I hear you talk about and I see value in what you're saying. I see
100%.
value in, we got to know each other on a personal level.
Yeah.
Our team became tight. We were productive. And you know, there's a lot of hard times, but it sounds like you enjoyed it as well.
Yeah, 100%. We enjoyed it, and the good thing is we had different group. Like my shop or my recruiting station was completely different, but at least once a month we would all go together and get all of us. We would get together. We would go to the beach with our wives. You know, we would go to restaurants with our wives. Like sometimes the CO and the sergeant major would come down. We will all of us.
You went to the beach with
together.
your wife, but the only person that you looked at was your wife.
100%, yeah.
Because she's the only woman there.
Yeah, same thing with him, of course.
She's the only one.
Of course, you know.
So for the wives.
So the reason why I say that is because you will never. I had a mass sergeant that told me don't go recruiting. because he was that naysayer. It's like, oh, turns out that master sergeant didn't even finish his recruiting thing, and I've said this a couple of times.
What, did he get relieved?
That is, I
Trash.
don't know, but he didn't finish his recruiting. He got released. He got
But
good
yet
on
he's
the
a
service.
master sergeant.
But yes, he retired as a master sergeant. But it is what it is. You know, I'm not knocking everything down. What I'm saying to you guys are thinking about going on recruiting duty specifically is do not knock the idea, because on recruiting specifically, it will give you traits that you will carry for the rest of your life.
Yeah, so like one thing that would just 1,000% piss me off as a sergeant major were the staff NCOs that would try to talk their Marines out of doing things like that for the most negative reasons. And I'm just like, what is your problem?
Yeah.
Like, and sometimes they wouldn't even have been a recruiter, let's say, or a drill instructor.
Oh yeah,
And
because
they're
I've
trying to-
heard my buddy said, or my buddy told me.
Right.
Yeah,
you
that's
know, and
usually what
or
happens.
they're trying to talk about getting an order. They got orders to Okinawa, and they're influencing these young service men and women to make these life-changing decisions. And I'm just like, wow,
Yeah.
wow.
That's why
I
you
think
gotta
that's
tell them,
trash.
yeah.
I think that's complete
Yeah.
trash.
And guys, you know the crazy part is, I think this has been a very valuable conversation. And we haven't even talked about the MV-22s. We've already been talking for about 45 minutes. We haven't even started about, because essentially what ended up happening, and I'll give you guys a forward what we're going to talk about in part 2 is he ended up being in part of a MV-22 squadron, and he ended up being part of the Aircrew in the MV-22 squadron, and that's what the real crazy ass stories start to come down. He actually told me a story the other day that we were talking to, where this was very recently. He was in a mission, and then all of a sudden, all the freaking lights in the cabin started to pop off, and then they started losing pressure in one of the engines, and all of a sudden the other engine lost power, and they're like, "What the hell are we going to do?" And we're going down. And guys, the finish of that story is going to be in part 2, so make sure that you guys check it out right here. Make sure that you guys subscribe and follow. I'll see you guys in part 2. Let's go.
Welcome to the